Dad, take me out of here. Dad, help me. Take me out. Valerie, hold on. Dad, help me. Let me go. Please, let me go. Stand back, Valerie. I'm gonna break this open. She hasn't spoken a word in almost 10 years now. Not a smile, not a frown. I've known the family since she was a child. There wasn't a girl more jollier than her. How did this happen? Doctors say she got frightened by something, caused her to go into shock. Harold's been having a hard time getting a caretaker after the last 3 left. 3 of them? Why did they leave? People just don't have the heart these days. Thanks so much for taking up the job. Always happy to help, Miss Dorothy. Christine recently joined this home care service to volunteer as a caregiver as part of her medical training at nursing school. Picking up her patient file, she left the head nurse's office to prepare for her visit to a 16-year-old girl named Valerie Cullen. The trip to the Cullen's house was a rather long one. Valerie lived with her single father, Harold, at the far end of the neighborhood. Have a good day, mister. The minute she reached there, she could tell they needed help. The house was beautiful, but now uncared for. A few minutes into ringing the bell, the door was answered by a middle-aged man, probably no more than his 40s. Christine had expected him to be much older. Hello, I'm Christine Jameson. Miss Dorothy sent me for Valerie? You must be Mr. Cullen. Yes, come in. Harold took her down the hall to the room at the farthest corner. Christine could see a young girl sitting quietly in her wheelchair in the dark. Dorothy must have explained everything to you. Yes, she has. I was hoping perhaps we can begin therapy. 10 years. 10 years have passed and nothing has worked. As Harold's watch suddenly sounded, he looked at Christine. I have to go. Feel free to use what you need around the house. With that, Harold picked up his coat and went out the door, leaving Christine practically all alone. Christine stepped into the dark room and kneeled down in front of Valerie. Her eyes seemed almost lifeless. Christine raised her finger and moved it across, but Valerie simply stared on ahead. Nonetheless, with a smile, Christine said, I know you're there. You can hear me. I'm Christine. I'll be taking care of you, and I promise things will be better soon. With that, Christine got up and pulled open the curtains. The darkness suddenly brightened into the room of what seemed to be of a 5-year-old girl's. He hasn't changed the room since she fell ill. After caring for Valerie that morning, Christine sat her by the balcony for some air. While she looked around the house, there were tons of small antique showpieces in the living room. Christine had heard Harold had an antique shop. She looked at a picture of Valerie. It was from when she was 5 years old, laughing as she was playing with the music box, the cuckoo clock, the toys. He kept them all these 10 years. What happened with Valerie? In the next few days of coming to the Cullen household, Christine noticed how isolated and alone Harold was. Perhaps depressed, so she would try to ease things for him. She would clean up the house and cook dinner for them. Mr. Cullen, the weather is quite chilly today. Would you like some coffee? No, you can close the door on your way. but Harold stayed to himself in his study. However, it was one of these days Christine heard him speaking in the room. Please give her back to me. Who is he talking to? Christine curiously peered through the door to see him standing to the corner of the room in front of an old armoire. Is he praying? In the next few days, Christine often noticed him speaking on his own and spending a lot of time just staring at the old armoire. What is it with that armoire? Do you know, Valerie? Why is your father so harsh? Come on, follow my voice. Guess I'll have to find out myself. It was one of these days while Harold was out at a shop. Christine went into the study again and stood in front of the armoire. It was broken. He repairs almost everything. Why not this? She pulled it open to find it empty inside. Nothing but a thick layer of dust. Christine quickly went to Harold's desk and found a screwdriver. This should do the trick. But just as Christine turned, she froze, seeing the armoire closed. Did I close it? As she held the handle to open it again, suddenly it got stuck. What is it stuck with? As she tugged onto it, all of a sudden, Christine's eyes fell upon the small gaping hole on the panel. She fell back as she screamed out in fright, and the armoire flew open. Before Christine could figure what happened, Harold rushed into the room. What happened? There, I saw someone inside. It was staring at the open armoire. Harold fell quiet. What are you doing here? I was just cleaning up. Stay out of my study. I'm sorry, but I really saw... You mistook something. Please leave. Hearing his harsh tone, Christine left, knowing she was the one who was prying here. But ever since that day, she got curious to know what she saw. Who does your father talk with, Valerie? Is there something he's hiding? And what did I see? Despite Harold's warning, the next time he was out, Christine couldn't help herself but to go back. Did I really mistake something? After staring at the old armor for what seemed like forever, Christine sighed as she turned to leave. It was just then that she heard a faint laughter, the sound of footsteps scurrying off. Christine turned to find the armoire open again. Who's there? She immediately rushed to the armoire and looked behind it, around it. But the room was empty. I'm sure I heard a voice. That's when Christine froze, seeing something flash before her eyes. Frightened, she left everything be and left the room. I don't know if anyone will believe me, but trust me, Valerie. I saw a little boy. I can't tell your father I was snooping around in his study again, but I know he's hiding something. What do I do? How are things going? It's been all right, but what? Has something happened? Trust me, Dorothy, I'm not making this up. I really saw it. Saw what? There's this broken armoire. I've seen Harold speaking in front of it. And I heard things. I saw a boy. Listening to Christine, the look on Dorothy's face changed. The last nurse said the same. The same? Dorothy, I know there's something Harold's not telling me. What happened to Valerie? What is it with that armoire? Look, Christine, I didn't want to scare you off. But believe me, things weren't always like this. Harold and his wife, Amelia, moved here almost 20 years ago. We used to be neighbors. That's when he first opened up his antique shop, and they were doing well. When Amelia got pregnant, they were the most happiest couple. But after she passed away, Harold went through tough times. He was very attached with his daughter. Oftentimes, he would take Valerie with him to the shop and stay there. Wow, Dad, this armoire is so pretty. This wardrobe is so pretty. Can I keep it? Please, Dad, can we take it home? Harold would buy these antique items from auctions in various places, repair them and sell them at the shop. But that armoire, he kept for Valerie. My name is Valerie. What's your name? Johnny? What are you doing in there? Come out. Don't be scared. Valerie, who are you talking to? My friend Johnny. Yeah, we play hide and seek together. But he always hides. Harold overlooked the matter. Kids have imaginary friends. But soon, things started to become strange. Valerie, where are you going with your food? Johnny's hungry, Dad. Don't be silly, I can't stay in here. Hold on, I know what you can do. I never feel alone when Teddy is with me. You can keep him. As the days went on, instead of getting over the strange little games, Valerie seemed to get obsessed with the armoire. Every morning, Harold would find her inside. It seemed she was awake the entire night. Valerie, where are you? Did you sleep here the entire night? Johnny doesn't let me sleep. All right, Valerie. That's it. You can't play in here anymore. Harold locked up the armoire and thought Valerie would whine a couple days and soon get over it. It was better than her falling sick. Johnny, are you crying in there? I'll open it. Dad, take me out of here. Dad, help me. When Harold heard Valerie shouting, he rushed to the room to realize what she had done. Valerie, hold on. But as he tried to pull the armoire open, he couldn't. It was as if something was holding it back. Dad, take me out. Let me go. Please, let me go. But the moment he heard a strange voice, a and the sound of his daughter's scream, Harold knew something wasn't right. "Stand back, Valerie. I'm gonna break this open." Harold broke the armoire to find his daughter laying unconscious inside. "Valerie! Valerie!" No one knew what happened that day, but Valerie's been like this ever since. It's almost as if she's soulless. After listening to what Dorothy said, Christine was baffled. Johnny? Did Valerie see the same little boy? Was it a spirit? Christine couldn't forget what she heard and saw herself, and she had to know more. Harold got it from an auction. There must be some paperwork. Inspecting the armoire and looking through all of Harold's things, Christine soon found a receipt file dated back to 1990, when he had bought it. Gyllenhaal auction. "A friend of mine bought this armoire from here about 10 years ago. Would you be able to tell me who originally owned it?" "This armoire, it's quite old. It was sold from a church. Can you give me the address?" To the church. It was around 6 p.m. when Christine reached the church, but from what it seemed, it was closed, abandoned in fact. Christine made her way in and stepped into the old house. "Nobody's here. Now what do I do?" "Who are you searching for, child?" Christine flinched to a voice behind her. She turned to look at an old man walk her way. "Oh, I thought this place was abandoned." "All but for me. I'm the caretaker." Christine took out the picture of the armoire. "I heard this armoire once belonged here. I was wondering to who?" Taking the picture, the old man fell silent before he said, "Priest Philip and his family. May I meet them? Come with me." The old man took Christine out behind the church. They walked down the path now covered by the forest until they stopped at an old burnt-down house. This used to be their home. It was almost 30 years ago. Priest Philip used to work at this church while he lived in this quarter. The clergy members all respected him and looked up to him, and so did the townspeople. But there was something about Priest Philip that no one knew. What is a woman doing with him? Priest Philip is married? But Priest Philip was not only married, but he also had a child. Knowing the rules of the church, he kept his family hidden. But it was one day his secret became exposed. "This is a disgrace. Philip has disgraced us. What do we do? Dismiss him from the church?" "No, we have to get rid of them before the people find out." The clergy decided to take the life of Priest Philip and his family. "Get out, Philip." "I'll try to handle them. Hide with John." But when Philip opened the door that night, trying to reason with them, the men all barged in. Anna, his wife, quickly hid her little boy in the armoire. "Hide here, okay, Johnny? Don't come out unless you hear my voice." "But Mommy, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone." "It's all right. Lay down on this pillow and take a nap." "Where is that vile woman?" Please, don't harm her. We'll leave from here. We'll leave this town. You deserve death." That night, the clergymen took the life of Priest Philip and his wife, rid their bodies, and set his house on fire. I used to work here as a caretaker back in those days. I witnessed what happened, but I couldn't do it. I witnessed what... "There's a fire in the church! There's a fire!" By the time the folk nearby rushed to set it out, it was too late. "There's a child in here." John had passed away in the armoire, too afraid to come out. No one knew what happened to Priest Philip, but with him gone, people stopped coming to the church, and eventually, the church was closed and his things were auctioned off. But what brings you here, child? To return something that belongs here. It was almost 10 at night, but Christine immediately returned to Harold's. "Christine, what are you doing here at this time?" "Harold, I know what happened with Valerie." "You know nothing. Go home, Christine." "Harold, listen to me. Your daughter is trapped." "What are you talking about?" After Harold listened to everything Christine had to say that night, he was shocked. "What do we have to do?" "Return him home, so your daughter can return home." So that night, Harold and Christine took the armoire back to the church, back to the burnt house. You don't have to be alone anymore. I'm home. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.